Ito ang Broad Streamcast Communicators, ang naiiba at kakaibang plataforma sa digital broadcast mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Streamcast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan mula sa walang labis at walang kulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Streamcast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techie Mami, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hi everybody. Sorry, a little bit late lang konti kasi I really my computer is really slowing down. Humihingi ng kapalit, ano ba yan? But anyway, happy Thursday everyone. Thursday na, no? Tama. Thursday, it's October 28. And this morning, my fiance and I, Jenny Lakap, we went to the cemetery here dito sa Pampanga, sa Good Shepherd, where his relatives are nandyan, no? Kasi alam natin na magsasara yung mga sementeryo. So, ang mga tao nagpupunta na, of course, the days before. Hanggang, I think, until tomorrow lang bukas yung mga sementeryo. But anyway, we already did our bit, no? We went there. Put flower. Oh, up to today? Okay, he said up to today. Tomorrow, it's gonna close tomorrow. October 29, starting October 29, the cemeteries will be closed. Of course, I kept just my dad in prayer because sa Manila yung crypt ng daddy ko, tsaka we're not able to go there naman, yung mga kapatid ko from America and Australia. But we're remembering our dad. 1 year na, hindi naman 1 year. What's this? Same. Yeah. That's right, 1 year my dad. But then, so yan. So dun sa mga pupunta sa today, siguradong today is gonna be a lot of people before the closure, no? So, social distancing, of course. But anyway, happy Thursday, everyone. And my cell phone is dead, so I can't see the people that are online too. But anyway, welcome to Buhay Online. Let's start with the news, of course, for si Maria Ressa, the Nobel Prize winner, right? Remember they had ano ba yan? Sarili ko yung tinanggal ko. They had a virtual ceremony done this year doon sa mga nanalo. But see, Nobel Prize winner to hold physical ceremony, di ba? That's cool. So, i-award na sila physically. Kasi nga, di ba, in some places over the world, like in America, people are trying to live normally. So, ito rin, yung kanyang awarding ay gagawin ng real life. Okay? Let me see first. So, she's gonna be awarded, right? Together with other Filipinos that are also being treated, no? Okay? After it was held online last year, kasi po, last year, the awardings were held online due to the pandemic. The Norwegian Nobel Committee announced yesterday that this year's Nobel Peace Prize ceremony will be held physically on December with the 2021 laureates in attendance. including investigative journalist Maria Ressa of the Philippines. Yay! Very good, right? Both of this year's Peace Prize winners, Maria Ressa and Dmitry Muratov, and a representative of last year's winner, the World Food Program, will be present. The Secretary of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, Olaf Nostad, told Agencia France Press. The French press, okay? In other words, trying hard pa ako talaga magsalita ng French. But anyway, while Ressa was named the first solo Filipina Nobel Prize winner, there are several Filipinos who were also given the honor as part of organizations that received the award. So, bigyan naman natin ng credit kung saan meron dapat credit, right? So, other Filipinos have already been part of being given a Nobel Prize, right? So, alamin natin, okay? Here are the Filipinos. I'm going to mention the Filipinos who were part of the organizations that were given the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, there's a Philippine campaign to ban landmines. Okay, Philippine campaign to ban mga landmines sa PCBL members. As a member of the international campaign to ban landmines, the PCBL has extended the honor granted to the organization in 1997. The Nobel Prize was co-shared by the organization and its founding coordinator, American political activist Jody Williams. The Nobel Committee cited the award recipients for their work for the banning and clearing of anti-personnel mines. In the same year, the ICBL gained the support of over 1,000 organizations from 60 countries. Representatives of 120 countries signed the Ottawa Convention that prohibit landmines. Kasama dyan yung PCBL ng Philippine Campaign to Ban Landmines. Kasali rin sa award na yun. Okay? Excuse me. Isa pa is a former Ateneo de Manila University president, Father Jet Villarin. Okay? Father Jet Villarin was part of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC. 10 years later, the IPCC shared the Nobel Prize laureate with United States Vice President Al Gore in 2007. Pero kasama dyan, kashare niya si Father Villarin. Diba? Cool. At the time of the Nobel awarding, the Jesuit priest and climate activist was president of Xavier University, Ateneo de Cagayan, until his appointment as president of the Ateneo de Manila University in 2011. He sat on the post until last year. Father Villarin is known for his work on greenhouse gas emissions. When the issue of global warming grew popular in the early 90s, Villarin was among those who took interest in it. Sa Pilipinas, okay? He is the lead reviewer of the United Nations Convention on Climate Change and has worked with the UN Consultative Group of Experts for Developing Countries. In the Philippines, he is part of the advisory board of the Climate Change Commission, CCC, okay? So, ayan ang isa pang awardee ng Nobel Prize na Filipino. Ano pa? Members of the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, or ang OPCW. In 2014, the Philippine Senate passed a resolution that commended the 10 Filipinos who were part of the OPCW. The organization won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2013. See, ito ang ating mga unsung heroes na hindi natin nabalitaan masyado, pero nanalo to ng Nobel Prize din ng mga Pilipino. Hindi nga lang solo. So si Maria Ressa, ang unang-unang solo awardee ng Nobel Prize na Filipina at Filipino. Okay? The 10 Filipinos who were awarded as members of the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons were Franz Ontal, Criselda Havelosa Van Dassler, Helen Andriesen, Gemma Van Oudhousden Binkoy, at panay foreign yung last name ng mga asawa ha. Jennifer Balatbat, Alan La Rosa, Roycelyn Reyes, Mary Anieto Screwer, Michael Conche, and Emily Castraciones. The Nobel Committee cited the organization for its extensive efforts to eliminate chemical weapons. Diba? Galing, right? Teka muna. Ako ba yung nag-broadcast? Okay, there, I can see. Kala ko hindi ako nag-broadcast, afraid. What happened? Okay, there. Am I broadcasting? Okay, okay, okay. All right. So, yeah, so as I was saying, right, yun yung mga Filipinos na nanalo ng Nobel Prize. Filipinas who worked on the abolishment of nuclear weapons. Wow, okay. Miriam Colleges, actually Maryknoll College, my alma mater, na ngayon ay Miriam College na. Maryknoll College or Miriam College's Hasmin Nario Galase and Loretta Castro are part of the Geneva-based international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons. Okay? Yoo-hoo! My schoolmates. Okay? Galase and Castro, which won the award in 2017. Okay? Galase and Castro are the campaign's regional heads in Asia. They're also officials of the Center for Peace Education in Miriam College, an ICANN member. The Nobel Committee cited the efforts of the campaign through its work to draw attention to the catastrophic humanitarian consequences of any use of nuclear weapons, okay, and for its groundbreaking efforts to achieve a treaty-based prohibition of such weapons. Ang galing ha. So, Filipinas who worked on the abolishment of nuclear weapons. So, nagtagumpay naman sila. Right? Okay? So, yan ang mga Filipinos na nanalo ng Nobel Prize na hindi natin alam. Okay? Na hindi natin alam. Okay? Very good. So, what else is new in the Philippines regarding economy? Okay? TechVox School looks to help spur the economy beyond the pandemic, okay? The ability of individuals to find employment opportunities and work is a key component of any economic freedom, okay? US-based conservative think tank Heritage Foundation's 2021 Index of Economic Freedom placed the Philippines 73rd out of 178 markets, while the 2020 Human Freedom Index by the Cato Institute in the US and Fraser Institute in Canada put the Philippines at number 54th out of 152 countries in terms of economic freedom. Compounding the picture is the economic crisis spawned by the pandemic. Diba? The Statistics Authority reported that the country recorded an 8.1% unemployment rate in July and a 14.7% underemployment rate. That translates to about 1.5 million workers na naging jobless at saka naghahanap pa ng additional income to make ends meet in this pandemic. Okay? So, itong Tech Vocational School na nababanggit dito is looking to help spur the economy beyond the pandemic. Okay? Technical vocational schools are helping employ out-of-school youth and children from poor households. This is how one such mga institution na ito ay makakatulong in aiding economic recovery during this pandemic. Okay? That concern is at the core of one technical vocational school adapting the German dual training system in the local scene. Okay? From its inception, ang Dual Tech Training Center had as its vision to help alleviate poverty in the country through the education and training of workers for industry. Okay? Ang Dual Tech ay tumutulong para sa makaangat ang economy by training these students to be able to get viable jobs. Economist Bernardo Villegas, now part of Dual Tech's Board of Trustees, said that in the early 70s, some top executives in industry taking an executive education program at the Center for Research and Communication saw that one of the more important contributions they could make to society was to train out-of-school youth and children of poor families so that they can be gainfully employed, especially in the area of blue-collar work. This dream was realized in 1982 when engineers, all members of Catholic Prelature Opus Dei, and their colleagues in the industry established Dual Tech. Okay? Ang Dual Tech started small in rented facilities sa Makati. In 1991, the school moved to its definitive campus in Canlubang, south of Metro Manila. The dual tech system melds classroom sessions with training in factories of partner companies who provide scholarships, as well as donations and grants. Sige, papakita ko sa inyo itsura ng eskwela. Right? Ayan nga. So, ini-employ nila yung mga estudyante sa mga factories. Or doon sila nagkaklase pala sa mga factories para ma-feel nila kung paano yung environment na pagtatrabahuhan nila once they finish school. Right? Okay. Hold on, let me just put this graphic, okay, to show you. So these are vocational courses, okay? Talaga naman, para to magkaroon ng chance yung mga out-of-school youth, tsaka indigent families na mapag-aral ang kanilang mga anak to get something that is going to be, where am I? What happened to me? Topics, okay? Hold on a second, please. Ayan, okay? Yan. Okay, tapos natin si Maria Resta, tabi na natin siya dito. Okay? So, yeah, see? Those out-of-school youth, okay, they're giving them a chance to go to school and do something so that they can upgrade or uplift their lives, right? The dream was realized in 1982 when those engineers formed Dual Tech. The Dual Tech system, okay, melds classroom sessions with training in factories of partner companies who provide scholarships, okay, as well as donations and grants tinatanggap din nila. This classroom training framework addresses a decades-old need in the country's education system, which is to produce graduates with the skills that are needed by the industry. So, tinatrain mo na sila sa kanilang future na pagtatrabahuhan. In the dual tech scheme, each needs just 70,000 pesos to complete a 2-year course. Oh, mura na yun, 2-year course, 70,000 lamang, which includes accommodations pa. Wow, that is about the price of a gaming laptop. Talaga naman talaga, yung mga gagastos sa ganyan. Saka, a typical course runs for 24 months. A student spends the first 6 months in school. In the succeeding 18 months, he spends a day in school and 5 days in the factory weekly. On top of skills training, Dual Tech has a distinct program to develop the students' human and social values. Wow, ang galing, right? Pretty cool, I think, right? That is very nice to know. Because I think, ang ganda ng ano na to, ng premise na yan, right? It's pretty good. Okay, hold on a second. Alright, see, ayan o. Yan sila, nag-aaral sila actually sa factory. So parang hands-on ng pagka-train, right? Because these are future jobs for them in the long run. I think this is such a good idea. Okay. The student trainees from high school are all scholars, okay? And ang kailangan lang sa mga gusto mag-donate, 70,000 pesos goes a long way. It's a 2-year training program. Dual Tech Executive Director Jaye he noted that despite the pandemic, there is a consistently high demand from companies who eventually absorb our in-plant trainees as regular employees. Very good. Very promising pa to kaagad na makakuha ng trabaho right after graduation. Maria Sheila Lopez, Chief Human Resource Officer of Auto Delta Parts and Services, shared that it's not just the skill sets, it's the values formation that these students have. We are happy when it comes to the attitude, the behavior, and also the resilience of these kids. Of course, everybody's taking on pandemic challenges. Mohi said, despite the community quarantine limitations, the school was achieved a zero layoff policy for its staff. We were affected, but I think not as bad as other schools. We were able to sustain all our 32 employees. No one was laid off. This was mandated by our board. Okay? The initial stages of the community lockdowns reduced the trainees' population to about 100 from a regular complement of 1,200 to 1,300. But now we're back to nearly 900 trainees and around 100 partner training campaigns. Wow, how cool. May social distancing naman. Ito yung kanilang classroom. Aha. TESDA, or the Technical Education and Schools Development Authority, which has which has regulatory oversight over dual tech, allowed the school to resume on-site classes in November last year. Kita mo, sila, yun nga, di ba? They were part of the ilang schools na pinayagan mag face-to-face kagaya ng sa medical school. Ito nga itong technical school, pinayagan din sila. Very good. Right? Na social distancing naman kasi pakita nga natin. Here they are having classes, okay? Students, okay? This is from November last year. They were open, right? So this is their classroom setup sa Dual Tech Kanlubang, right? What is the name of this school? Where is it? I know. Here you go, see? This is their classroom setup. There. Ayan sila. Ganyan sila nagkaklase, Eventually sana, right? Pwede na rin lahat. Pero of course, million estudyante yan. Hundreds of thousands. There you go. So that is Dual Tech, no? That is their atmosphere there at Dual Tech Kanlubang. That's the... Okay, so TESDA, or the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, allowed the school to resume on-site as early as last November last year, with adjustments in pedagogy, adjustments in physical setup, and adjustments in the working arrangements. Syempre, in-adjust din ang curriculum, in-adjust ng mga lessons, mga materials, right? With our partner companies, we managed to continue our programs. Muhi narrated that everyone makes it a point to comply with the IATF, the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, and their regulations, and then things seem to have worked out for them, okay? Kasi nga, mag-1 year na silang bukas. Itong mga nag-aaral na to, swerte dahil hindi sila kailangang mag-aral sa house. Dual Tech continues with online classes, which started in March 2020. What we did was to allow the students full access to our database of resources, which we have built through the years, okay? Think of it as an electronic library. There, students get to do research and study on their own. Throughout the lockdown period, Dual Tech supported its stranded students. Those living in the vicinity of the school were given meals. Relief packs were delivered to those living farther away. The rest were given cash assistance. The humanitarian operation cost the school some 9 million pesos, sourced from individual and corporate donors. Alumni donated as much as 1 million for this cost. Dual Tech President Arnolfo Morfe noted, some 600 graduates wanted to be kuya to the stranded Dual Tech students who came from areas like Agusan del Sur, Bataan, Bicol provinces, Bohol, and Basilan. Reynaldo Mendoza was among those kuyas. He now works in a food processing company in South Korea. Wow, see? Nagkaroon na ng trabaho kaagad. I saw the social media posts of Dual Tech alumni seeking help for the students who were still on the way to shaping their future, they explained. My message to the scholars now is that they are in the right place to have a good future, and of course, they will always have Dual Tech alumni by their side. So, mag-hello yung tito ko yan, mga hi. Okay. The time is now, okay? The government and private sectors forecast that economic conditions will return to pre-pandemic levels in the third quarter of 2022, okay? The dual tech partner companies are now gearing for normalization of operations. The time is now for the school to grow its student population. Okay? So, ayan, Dual Tech has more than 100 partner companies where the students are deployed for their on-the-job training. Among them are Suzuki, ICTSI, Unilab, Mondel's, Del Monte, Enchanted Kingdom, Toyota, NutriAsia, and others in the manufacturing and servicing industries. So, kailangan pa nila ng mga partner companies, di ba? Para tumulong sa mga mag-aaral na ito. Alright? Okay. And on that note, right? So, maganda. I think ang ganda yung premise nitong dual tech. Very good. Okay. So, maganda. I think ang ganda yung premise nitong dual tech. What's happening? Anyway, okay. Excuse me, pardon me. Sorry, nakita niyo yata yung aking tita. Because it's almost lunchtime here in the Philippines, and and here in the province, our neighbors are like, well, actually, when I was in Manila too, our neighbors, we exchange giving food. So the tita of my hubby to be, my fiance, just lives next door. So she just gave us some pancit for lunch. Okay. But our lunch today is we're eating. Lunch today we have pinakbet and bangus, pritong bangus. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. My throat has been really, really croaky. Okay. All right. News from around the globe naman. Okay. Let me just put these things away. All right. All right. Social distancing. Okay. All right. Look at these. Okay. Technology. Talk about innovation. Rome Airport readies for flying taxis in 2024. Can you believe it? Flying taxis. Ano yan? Coaching lumilipad? Let's find out. Okay. Let's find out what it is. Okay. Hindi naman coaching lumilipad yata. Okay. From Rome, the news, okay? Passengers flying into Rome from 2024 onwards will be able to go airborne for their taxi ride into the city center too. If a project between the company operating its main airport and a German startup lifts off on schedule. Wow! So galing sa airplano, sasakay ka rin ng airplano para makababa. Hindi ko naintindihan. Anyway, Startup Volocopter, ang tawag Startup Volocopter, hopes to make Flomicino Airport a pioneer site for the rotor-bladed, battery-powered two-seater air taxi it is developing. Ayan nasa picture. Oh my gosh. This is called an air taxi. Wow. Teka, lalakihan ko tingnan nyo. Diba? This is the air taxi. Good grief. Right? Amazing. It looks like a helicopter. Well, it's a volocopter. See? So anyway, sige, takpan ko na lang muna yung face ko. This is called a volocopter. It hopes to make the Fiumicino Airport a pioneer site for this battery-operated two-seater air taxi. Aeroporti de Roma, CEO Marco Tronconi said, the journey in one of the craft, which takes off and lands vertically, will take around 15 minutes compared to 45 minutes or more by car. Oh my gosh, helicopter taxis. Pero diba parang nagkaroon na ng Grab helicopter ride before? I remember it when Grab was it Uber or Grab? But I know that they were actually charging 3,800. Ihahatid ka ng helicopter. So, anong difference nitong volocopter na to? The initial cost of a ride will be around 150 euros or 175 US dollars, a price likely to drop as the service goes mainstream. All right? The connection will be very swift, he told Reuters at Fiumicino, where Volocopter was showcasing a prototype. It will be a silent journey and the level of emissions will be zero. Wow! Carbon emission daw is zero. Volocopter, founded in 2011, hopes to get a commercial air license from the European Aviation Safety Agency, or the EASA, within 3 years, and then start operations in 2024. Oh. Its chief commercial officer, Christian Bauer, said. Okay? Rome is seen as the third most suitable European city behind Paris, where Volocopter said in June it hoped to have a service in operation in time for the Olympic Games, and Berlin for the development of air taxis. Okay? So, yeah, no? Can you beat that, right? Mm-hmm. So, that is the latest news regarding that. All right? Okay. Okay, so let me remove this now from my face, okay? So, yan, ang volocopter, ang tawag dyan. Wow! 175 US dollars pamasahe mo para ka para ma-cut yung time mo ng less than 30 minutes. Babayad ka ng $175? Well, some people would, I guess. Yung mga businessmen, pwede yun. I think. Charge lang sa company, right? Okay. So, okay, remember that in the news now, di ba, trending yung under fire on Facebook because of the whistleblower Francis Huggins expose na saying that she had proof that Facebook doesn't care about its members or subscribers. They only care about profit because and Facebook's affiliates like Instagram or WhatsApp or Instagram saying that it's detrimental to young women yung mga pinopost sa Instagram, right? Well, Facebook is still studying if terror crime suspect list will be made public. Ngayon, ito, meron sila ngayong issue dito. Okay? Kasi they're under fire nga sa mga pinopost nila. They have to be careful, more careful about things that they post if it's going to affect the contention of people, the mindset of people, or makakapag-arouse ng magiging subversive or against the vaccine. Ito naman, Facebook is still studying if terror or crime suspect will be made public. Social media giant Facebook said it was studying whether to make public a global list of individuals and organizations allegedly involved in crimes and terrorism. See? Kasi alam they are able to get such data. Kasi nga sa kanilang mga analytics tsaka sa kanilang database. All right? Nawab Osman, head of Facebook's counter-terrorism and dangerous organizations in the Asia-Pacific, said the social media company has not released the list as the groups might try to find loopholes to get around it. O baka papatay na si Mark Zuckerberg pagka nirelease yung mga pangalan nila. Tsaka baka magkaroon sila ng legalities dyan, right? They might get more sophisticated. They might try to circumvent our policies in order to have a presence, he told journalists at an online briefing on Wednesday, October 27. Ang ibig sabihin, ang ginagawa ng ni Facebook, yun na nga, they're trying to be, para silang journalists din na maglalabas sila ng information para pagtulong sa mga tao. Itong mga list ng terorista na to. But at the same time, yun na nga, there's certain rights about their cyber crimes. Meron na rin mga legalities that go around it. So, a leak of the list nitong mga terrorists, which included thousands of individuals and organizations, has been recently released by an American news organization. Wow. We agree that there's more room for transparency. We are working on the best way to do this. Making the list public potentially is one way, but it can also cause problems, sabi to ni Osman. I'm not saying we will not make our list public. We might at some point. But there are many considerations before we make this public. Siyempre, takot sila, right? Lakot sila sa balikan sila nitong mga underworld criminals. Organizations and individuals suspected to be engaged in violence or terrorism are being assessed according to 3 tiers. All right? These are being monitored through artificial intelligence and human reviewers. Okay? Osman said Facebook had taken action on 99.7% of terrorism content and 97.8% of hate content. Salamat naman, di ba? Kasi yan nga, dyan kayo tinitira ngayon na wala kayong pakialam sa mga members nyo eh. Panay profit lahat. Na kahit itong mga kontrabando na ito or whatever, nakakapag-post ng mga hindi kaaya-ayang news bits, right? Or call to action eh. But Facebook is recently under fire, of course, for supposedly failing to police abusive content, right? Among its billion users in countries vulnerable to harm and online propaganda. Yan na nga ang issue ngayon. Kaya ngayon, pina-announce nila na sinabi lang nila na baka i-release nila itong mga lists, but they're not yet sure. Okay? A report by Reuters said that based on internal company documents, Facebook was aware that it hasn't hired enough workers to identify objectionable posts from users in a number of developing countries. Kaya nga, di ba, sa Europe, nag-hire sila ng 18,000 workers sa Facebook para ayusin yung kanilang plataforma. Ayun na nga. Ang katapat lang yan talaga kasi man-to-man guarding, right? So to speak. They really have to hire more people to police these posts. Kasi billions of users, tapos yung empleyado mo ilan. Diba? Kung yung empleyado mo, hindi naman milyones, paano mo i-address yung i-censor lahat ng billion subscribers mo, right? So, okay, so that is the news about that from Facebook. Okay? All right. In the Philippines, in the world of technology pa rin, okay? Okay, let me see. Here, let's bring to the fore itong shoppertainment. Ano to? What is shoppertainment? Well, okay. The Philippines' first and leading live stream shopping network, Shoppertainment Live, recently opened 7 new diverse and fully functional lifestyle studios to capture the ever-growing live commerce market. Okay. As a tech-enabled live stream shopping network for e-commerce and social media, Shoppertainment Live enables big advertising agencies, multinational companies like Unilever and Del Monte, and e-commerce giants like Shopee and Lazada to properly sell their products, in an online broadcast setup produced at their Quezon City studios, where they have in-house presenters from their talent pool. Okay, with more studios, sinabi nila, we expect more action for the market. The team's confidence stems from handling the smallest local businesses to the biggest global brands as part of their roster of clients. Shoppertainment Live's strength is making products sellable, handling diverse products such as cosmetics, clothing, electronics, and everything in between. According to Shoppertainment CEO Yasmin Neri Soyao. Okay? She is the CEO of Shoppertainment Live. Okay? Yan, siguro yan siya yung nasa picture dyan. Neri Soyao explained that through their data and experience, the company was able to identify which categories are going to be on the rise and in demand, hence the creation of multi-lifestyle studios. Okay? So ano itong mga lifestyle studios nila? They have style studios for fashion and beauty. They have kitchen studios to broadcast cooking and home appliances shows from. They also have lifestyle studios for talk shows and home care, technology studios for mobile and gadgets, music studios, and last but not the least, recreation studios for entertainment. All right. The company also launched its incubation program for its influencer sellers. Influence sales ang tawag dyan, okay? Through Shoppertainment Academy. This initiative educates and equips Shoppertainment Live presenters with the necessary skills to be sale-centric, entertaining, and engaging to the market. So may training pa dyan, right? Para sa mga presenter. With a numbers-driven mindset and a natural disposition to entertain and inform shoppers about their purchases, their in-house presenters are the next generation of marketers working for brands in real time to reach a wider range of a brand's market more authentically and engagingly. Okay? Thus making every lifestyle activation effective in the virtual realm. Okay? The live commerce market has been rapidly growing and thriving with the eyes of Filipinos stuck to their screens due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Shoppertainment Live has seen a 20 to 100% growth in the demand for live streams from brands since 2020. Okay? Sobrang dry ng throat ko. Pasensya. Habang while we are living in this new normal, ang Shoppertainment Live is coming in equipped for this industry with members from the e-commerce, broadcasting, events, activations, and advertising industries coming together to oversee its growth. The company COO herself was a host alumna of a popular home TV shopping show and has served as a brand executive with the country's biggest network. With her are Lawrence Lee. In the picture you see, she's the one in red. Okay, she's the CEO of Shoppertainment. With her in the picture is okay. Hold on a second. I lost my mark. All right. The company CEO before was also a host of her own TV show and has served the brand as the brand executive with the country's biggest network. Okay, here in the photo with her are Lawrence Lee, the chief broadcast officer who gained significant experience in all three major broadcasting networks as director and producer, and Patty Soya, the company's chief strategic officer who also serves as CEO and co-founder of Icon Executive Asia and a former managing director and co-founder of a below-the-line advertising firm. Through their efforts, Shoppertainment Live has expanded their clients' audience digital e-commerce reach with an average of 10,000 average organic views per hour, amplified by 70% digital engagement and 100 average store followers with 2 to 10% viewership to sales conversions. Okay? Okay? Itong company na to is quite unique, okay? And it has been constantly refining the virtual retail experience into an art, producing push sales via live streams, brand awareness events, shoppable webinars, activations, and grand live streams that were previously held by the above-the-line network giants. Okay? Shoppertainment Live is poised to make the live commerce ecosystem flourish in the country. With its board of directors backing the company's growth using their expertise in e-commerce solutions, influencer marketing, and visual merchandising, among others, the company is projected to spread its roots nationally, projecting regions' offices to be installed in 3 years. This opens up for regional speakers to sell in their language, making marketing more hardworking for brands to get their production costs closer to home, closer to life by going live. All right? Okay. So the live stream shopping network is also working on its Southeast Asia and global expansion plans, highlighting the potential of Filipino online presenters because of their innate strong communication skills and infectious enthusiasm. O nga naman. Magaling na yata ang mga host natin, ha? Diba? Rose, yours truly included. Ta-da! But really, really, yeah, magagaling naman. So, yan. Pretty soon, darating na dito ang shoppertainment live. Okay? Ah, oh yeah. You've heard the latest on the Samsung heir, the son of the Samsung owner. He was convicted already. Ayan siya. Sorry ka. Alright. Mm, there you go. Samsung heir convicted and fined on drug charges. Oh wow, right? Samsung heir Lee Jae has been convicted and fined for illegally using the sedative propofol. Propofol pala. The embattled businessman had taken the drug commonly used as anesthesia dozens of times in recent years. Anesthesia? Nakaka-addict ba yun? United Under South Korean law, recipients of a controlled drug can be prosecuted as well as those who administer it. Eh, paano kung kailangan sa health? So, bawal pala ang maggamit ng controlled drug. The controversial heir had just been released on parole in August, having spent 20 months in jail for bribery and embezzlement convictions. O nga naman, binibili niya lahat ng tao siguro. During the latest trial, prosecution said that Lee used propofol multiple times between 2015 and 2000 under the guise of skin treatment. So, kunyari yung gamot na iniinom niya ay pang eczema or psoriasis, yun pala, pang utak. Alright? During his latest trial, prosecutors said that Lee used this propofol multiple times and he used it as a skin treatment. But his lawyer claimed it was to treat psychological stress related to the hospitalization of his father and his ongoing legal proceedings. Lee pleaded guilty to the charges. So, on Tuesday, right? On Tuesday, a court fined him 70 million won, or $59,000, or 43,000 pounds, as propofol is less likely to be misused than many other controlled substances. Offenders typically receive fines rather than jail terms. While it's more commonly used to sedate patients undergoing surgery, propofol is also sometimes used recreationally. The singer Michael Jackson was found to have died from a propofol overdose in 2009. Ako, scary. Wag na. Please. Huwag nyo na yan gawin. Huwag nyo gamitin. Semiconductors and vaccines. Regarding this, Lee was sentenced for 2.5 years in January for his role in bribing the country's former president, Park Geun-hye, in one of the biggest corruption scandals South Korea has seen in recent years. Wow, bribing the president. But he was released early in August this year, with the presidential office saying it hoped under his leadership, Samsung would help the country produce semiconductors and vaccines. The company subsequently pledged to invest 240 trillion won, or $206 billion, or 150 billion pounds, in the next 3 years in fields such as chips and biopharmaceuticals. Lee himself has kept a low profile as he remains on trial for other charges. Marami pa pala tong kasalanan. He is accused of stock price manipulation and accounting fraud related to the 8 billion merger of two Samsung firms in 2015. Grabe, no? I mean, really. Itong mga mayayaman na to, wala talagang magawa sa sarili. Right? Okay. So if you would like to send any questions or make suggestions on what topics we should talk about, or you want to be a resource person, a guest on my show, please feel free to email me at jbautista@gmail.com or send me a message from my messenger or my Facebook account, JC Bautista, or here through Broad Streamcast Communicators. Okay. Uh, all right. Mm-hmm. So hold on a second on this. So for past episodes too, of course, you can always watch us on YouTube. Okay. So ano pa yung mga questions na yun tungkol sa AI? We will talk about AI siguro, if not tomorrow, the next day. Okay. For now, okay. Oh, look at this news from TikTok. Okay. TikTok tells U.S. lawmakers it does not give information to China's government. Okay. Yan na, praning kung praning, right? All right. An executive of TikTok, okay, faced tough questions on Tuesday during the video sharing app's first appearance at a U.S. congressional hearing. It's the first time TikTok attended it in the U.S. pa, right? Of course. Uh, so this is the first time. Uh, all right. This is the first time. During uh, Okay, TikTok is saying that they do not give information to the Chinese government kung sino yung mga sumasali sa TikTok. An executive at TikTok uh, answered some questions during the video sharing app's first appearance at the U.S. congressional hearing. They're saying that they do not give information to the Chinese government, and they and has sought to actually safeguard U.S. data. Senators at the hearing also voiced concern that TikTok, owned by Beijing-based internet technology company ByteDance, and rivals YouTube, owned by Alphabet Inc., and Snapchat, have algorithms that can be harmful to young people. So that's what they have found out, right? Michael Beckerman, TikTok's head of public policy for the Americas, became the company's first executive to appear before Congress, testifying for a subcommittee of the Senate Commerce Committee. Republicans in particular pressed Beckerman on worries regarding TikTok's stewardship if data on the app's users. Okay, Senator Marsha Blackburn, the panel's top Republican, said she is concerned about TikTok's data collection, including audio and users' location, and the potential for the Chinese government to gain access to the information. Blackburn questioned Beckerman on whether TikTok would resist giving data to China's government if materials were to be demanded. Oo nga naman, syempre nagpapraningan lahat kasi Chinese ang nag-develop ng TikTok. So they're all afraid that they might be leaking information to the Chinese. And it's pretty hard to do, right? We do not share information with the Chinese government, says Beckerman. Under questioning by Republican Speaker Senator Ted Cruz, Beckerman said that TikTok has no affiliation with Beijing ByteDance Technology, a ByteDance entity at which the Chinese government took a stake and a board seat this year. Okay. So yeah, so they're attesting to the fact that they said TikTok will not share your information that you put there to China. No. Talaga, Scout's honor yan, ha? Cross your heart and hope to die. Beckerman said TikTok and Snapchat also testified. In a show of bipartisanship, seniors of both parties, including Democratic panel chairman Richard Blumenthal, accused the three companies of exposing young people to bullying and sometimes steering them to information that encouraged harmful behaviors, right? Okay? So that is my take on this. All right. Okay, so TikTok tells US lawmakers it will not give information to China. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Okay. On the area of climate change, diba? We've been having weird weather. It's been actually cool in Pampanga. It's actually what 20. Yesterday was 32. It was a little hot, but now it's down to 29. Okay? All right? Climate change. Okay, let's talk about climate change. Now the environment. As it was. Climate Change Commission and Nestle Philippines to discover sustainability-focused solution. Ang galing naman, diba? From the dual tech na eskwela kanina, now Nestle Philippines is trying to discover sustainability-focused solutions. Magaling, right? Around the world, ang impact ng climate change is already happening, right? It's already being felt all over. Like I said, diba, I teach international students. And in Japan, last month, they were saying that it was already fall, di ba? Autumn na kasi sa America at sa Japan, sa mga areas na mayroong 4 seasons. Tayo, wala naman tayong 4 seasons, 2 seasons lang dito. Too hot and too wet, too rainy. But anyway, around the world nga, the impact of climate change is already being felt. Okay? It is evident in the occurrence of more frequent and severe weather events, the rise of sea levels, and the continuous increase in global temperatures, among many others that in turn threaten many crucial aspects of our lives, including kasali na dyan ang food security and biodiversity. Talaga naman di ba pag umulan, pag nagbaha nung nangyayari, yung mga crops, ang presyo ng what do you call this, vegetables, nagmahal. Diba? Unfortunately, these effects are only bound to worsen over the next few decades, according to a report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC. They released that report last August. Human activities that result in greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere are still viewed as one of the main drivers of the climate crisis. Given the current situation, the need to rethink our development approaches and incorporate sustainability principles in our strategies and plans, now is more a time as any to do it, okay? Taking on this challenge and in line with its commitment to achieve net zero emissions by 2050, Nestle Philippines has partnered with the Climate Change Commission, the agency spearheading the government's climate change initiatives, for a joint project called Climathon, our race towards a net zero reality. Okay? With the goal to empower the youth to develop and implement meaningful climate actions, okay, para ma-address yung climate change issues, okay, the Climathon provides a platform for Filipino youth to spur the development of innovative and sustainability-focused solutions. Participants are asked to develop creative solutions among the following pillars: tackling plastic problems, lowering greenhouse gas emissions, and improving food security. All right? So that is what. Okay, pakita ko na nga itong climate to. What it is. Okay? Okay na yan. Alright? Okay, so again, here it is, that Climathon that I'm talking about. Hold on, sorry. Alright. So there. Tapos na tong si Samsung Lee. Umalis na ikaw. You're guilty as charged. Alright? Okay. So, with this, on this note, I'd like to end this today's program and to continue to more on to our race towards a net zero reality. How nice, right? That is nice to know. Okay? Na ayan ang kanilang around the world, the impacts of climate change kasi is really being felt right now. So, Climathon, with the development of Climathon, they want a race towards net zero reality. They have the goal to empower the youth to develop and implement meaningful climate actions to address climate change issues. Okay? Thank you so much. So, yan po. Kasama na dyan yung pagre-recycle. Thank you very much po for joining me today. And please always have peace, hope, and love in your hearts. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much and magkita-kita po tayo ulit bukas.